Top tips for using our geometry tools on TI-Nspire. So we're going to go and insert a graph, and in here I'm going to change the axes. I think the easiest way is to go to the overall menu, the window zoom option 4, and then option 1, the window settings. Let's go ahead and go 0 up to 20 and 0 up to 20. Okay, and then on this little middle button here, can you see it's got a little red hand? So if you press Control and then the center button, it will give a little hand, and you'll be able to move the axes around a little bit. Okay, I like to see the origin when I'm doing my axes. So, all right, so we're going to plot some points on the grid, and then we're going to draw in some lines, and going to use the geometry tool. So let's go menu. First of all, actually, if you have a little look at this action section, this is all the stuff on here. We are going to be using this option 8 on the actions. And if you go to the view menu, you can see this grid option here. You can have a no grid, which is like this, which I don't like. Not for this particular work. So menu, view, grid. You can have a lined grid. Okay, if you like that, then go for it. Menu, view, grid. I like the dot grid. Okay, it just gives you something to give an idea of what it looks like. And then let's get going. Menu, geometry, and we're going to put a point on the grid, and we're going to go point by a coordinate. And as soon as you do this, it lets you just type in the X and the Y coordinate. So I'll go 5 and then press enter, and it goes to the next coordinate. So the enter moves you to the next coordinate, and 5, 7, and then I'll enter again, and there it is. And it also labels it, and then you can actually just drag this point again and put another point in. But I'm used to the idea that every time you've used the menu, maybe press escape, and now you're back to your cursor, right? So I'll go to the menu again. If I want another point, I'll just go through the same process. The geometry settings, points and lines, point by coordinate, and this time I'll put 10, enter, and I'll go to 15. There we go. And now, before I try and do anything else, press escape, and I'm just gonna go and grab this. So you'd close your hand around this and just move the actual text around. Fantastic. And I'm going to click on here and grab. So that would be the center button of your scratch pad. What would you call this? Yeah, a little control pad. Fantastic. All right, so now I am going to construct the perpendicular bisector. All right, so I will get the calculator to do the work for us. Now, we definitely need to be able to do it by hand as well, using algebra, and we'll do that in the classroom. But off we go. Menu, geometry, and it's the construction menu. All right, so if we want to construct, we want to construct the perpendicular bisector of this point and this point, and there it is. Press escape. A bit hard to do on your calculators, but if you can point to the end line and grab the end, you can kind of extend it a little bit like this. You can extend it a little bit. Great, and then we can actually give you the equation of this line, which is pretty good. Menu, actions, coordinates and equations. All right, and you just click on it, and there it is. There's the equation of the perpendicular line. I think I'm going to put the line on through these 2 points as well, just so we could have that equation just for completeness. Menu, geometry, and then we just go back to points and lines, right? And we are going to draw a line. Interesting to know, a line kind of goes on to infinity in both directions. A segment is just literally one piece of a line, can you see? An array starts at one point and then goes forever in one direction, right? So I'm just going to draw the full line just for the sake of it, but then I could choose a segment or array. So line, and then you just click the 2 points that you want the line to go through, right? There you go. And let's go and get the equation of this line, which would be menu, geometry, And of course, you realize it's not there, right? This is how to construct the line, but you can't name the line through this menu. So we press escape. Do you remember what it was? Menu, actions, and there it is, number 8, coordinates and equations. All right. So the geometry menu is for drawing the stuff, and the action menu number 1 and 8 is for naming the lines. So there you go. There's the 2 lines, and they're in there. Now you realize that it doesn't look quite right, because aren't these supposed to be perpendicular to each other, right? They're supposed to be 90 degrees to each other, and it certainly doesn't look 90 degrees. So have a little think of why they aren't looking like 90 degrees. Yeah, and you should have guessed that, look, the scale is slightly different. The 1 unit wide here is not the same length as the 1 unit here. So we need this to be kind of like a square grid. So we can maybe have a look at that menu, window zoom, and one of the options on here would be actually to do a zoom square. So let's have a little look. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you see you've got a zoom square. So a zoom square will do exactly what it says. Each axis, each X and Y axis is using the same scale. So if I now click and grab, beautiful, right? You can see that now this has changed the scale, so we can definitely see this is 90 degrees, right? This is the perpendicular bisector. This is the original line. This is the line that's perpendicular. All right. So this will be pretty handy as we move forward with this coordinate geometry in Voronoi diagrams. So go ahead and try and upskill yourself with those top tips.